Michael Douglas is one of the most talented and well-known actors in American history. He has been in many movies and TV shows, and his charm and versatility have won him friends all over the world. Off-screen, his 24-year marriage to Katherine Zeta Jones is a bright spot in the dark world of Hollywood divorces, but that union is in danger. Michael Douglas's wife is saying goodbye after her husband's tragic diagnosis. And we have all the details here. So pull up a chair, and let's start to fully appreciate it. Before I tell you about Michael Douglas's health and marriage, let me give you a quick history of the actor. Michael Douglas was born to Kirk Douglas and Diana Dill, two famous actors in Hollywood, so it's safe to say that talent runs in the family. At a young age, Michael learned to act like his father by watching him do it on screen. Kirk Douglas was named the 17th greatest male icon of all time. Michael was expected to follow suit with classic movies, but Kirk was born into a poor family that had fled communism in the Russian Empire by coming to the U.S. In the U.S., Kirk learned to do menial jobs to help his family, who were drowning in poverty. And while he was in school, he fell in love with acting when he got a standing ovation for reading The Red Robin of Spring by Alexander Pushkin. John Clare saw acting as a way to get his family out of poverty and worked hard at it. His hard work and discipline helped him reach the top and win many awards, including the Golden Globe for Best Actor in 1956. He starred in many classic blockbusters and dramas, such as Ace in the Hole, The Indian Fighter, Lust for Life, Spartacus, and 7 Days in May. Near the end of his stellar career, Kirk transitioned into. He brought the same energy and enthusiasm to the business of making movies. He was very demanding of his actors, which often led to bad relationships, but he didn't care, because he thought actors were the most important part of filmmaking and had to do their best if the movie was to be a success. His intensity and charisma made him one of the best directors of all time, and he passed the torch to his son Michael Douglas. Michael had a hard time coping. Born in 1944, Michael Douglas was destined for fame because both of his parents were great actors. However, the road to the top wasn't easy for the child. As a teenager, Michael Douglas was very shy and had crippling stage fright. As the oldest son of famous movie stars, Michael was expected to lead his school's theater club in great performances, but his anxiety and stage fright got the best of him. And even though they didn't show it to the public, many parents and teachers felt bad about it. Although people had mild criticisms of his performance, Michael knew that he was capable of greatness but couldn't figure out how to express it. He knew that he was destined for greatness, but probably felt overwhelmed by the huge expectations of stepping into his parents' shoes. How did young Michael Douglas get over his anxiety and stage fright to become the famous actor we know today? It might sound easy, but it wasn't. His famous father, who wasn't afraid to face his own insecurities, gave him a lot of help. He taught him to believe in himself and his abilities. Focus on his strengths. He told young Michael to work hard on his craft and improve his skills because talent wasn't enough to make it in the very competitive industry. Most importantly, his father told him to aim for the best and settle for nothing less. Over time, young Michael gained confidence and did well on his studies. The stage finally reached the heights everyone had been waiting for. He was now ready to take over his father's job. Michael's first TV role was in the 1969 CBS Playhouse movie The Experiment. His talent was clear to the directors and producers, who gave him high marks. Unlike his peers, Michael loved being behind the camera, so a few months after starring in The Experiment, he opened his own studio. Michael continued to star in low-budget movies until he got his big break when he was cast as Carl Dixon in the 1969 drama Hail Hero. In the movie, Michael plays a college student who joins the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War with the goal of ending the war through love instead of violence. His performance got him a lot of praise from both fans and critics, and it earned him the Golden Globe Award for the most promising young actor. Michael Douglas, a young nervous boy whose acting skills were almost stifled by stage fright, was finally here. In 1972, he was cast as Inspector Steve Keller in the crime drama TV series The Streets of San Francisco, alongside the legendary actor Karl Malden. Douglas built a strong relationship with Malden, calling him a mentor and a friend whom he deeply admired. The two men's relationship went beyond the set and continued even after the series ended in 1976. It reached its peak in 2004 when Douglas had the honor of giving his mentor Walden the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center. Douglas's acting career continued to blossom, with roles in critically acclaimed movies like Summer Tree and Adam at 6 a.m. But there was still something missing. He knew he wanted to be an actor, and he was one. But there was one more thing he couldn't get rid of. No matter how many movies he was in, he had mastered acting but not yet movie production, which was his second passion. He got the chance to show off his production skills in 1971, when his father Kirk Douglas gave him the rights to the novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. His father had bought the rights to the novel in 1962 with the hope of making a movie version, but that never happened, so he gave them to Douglas. Kirk gave his son Michael Douglas the rights to make the movie based on the hugely popular book, believing that he could pull it off. It was a huge risk to let an unproven film producer take a chance on the project, but Kirk was willing to give Michael a chance. His faith in his son paid off when Michael made one of the best movies of the 1970s, which went on to win an Academy Award for Best Picture. Michael Douglas's reputation in Hollywood shot through the roof. Many executive producers and movie financiers rushed to get him to work on their projects. Michael carefully chose movies and projects that would boost his reputation as a leading man in Hollywood. For example, he produced and starred in the award-winning movie Romancing the Stone 1984, which starred Danny DeVito and Kathleen Turner and made $15 million over its $10 million budget. Michael had finally made it in Hollywood, but there was one thing that was still missing. Michael Douglas wanted to be a famous actor and producer in Hollywood, and he did. But his love life was a mess. He met the young Brenda Vio on the set of the 1971 movie Summer Tree, but their 6-year relationship didn't turn out the way he had planned. Michael Douglas was ready to settle down. Brenda wasn't interested in going out with a famous actress. In a 2017 interview with Closer, Vaccaro said that she and Douglas had planned a hippie wedding at her agent's house, but she pulled out at the last minute. Michael was devastated because he had dreamed and played out the wedding ceremony over and over in his mind. When asked why she pulled out at the last minute, Vaccaro said that she was interested in a young actor named Don Stroud, who was 3 years younger than Vaccaro. Unfortunately, their relationship didn't last, and she still feels bad about not marrying Michael. After breaking up with Vaccaro, Michael had to pick up the pieces of his broken heart and find a new love. A year later, he found love and married Deandra Lusser, the daughter of an Austrian diplomat. They had one child together, Cameron Douglas. But the marriage didn't last and ended in 1995, after 18 years. For 4 years, the famous actor stayed single and focused on his career, starring in hit movies like Disclosure, American President, The Ghost in the Darkness, and The Game. His achievements and hard work in the industry were recognized at the 1998 Carlo Very International Film Festival, where he won an award. Got the prestigious Crystal Globe Award. Despite his huge success in the 1990s, Michael felt empty. He had bad luck with love in the past, but was ready to try again. When he saw Katherine Zeta, he was immediately struck by love. Jones in the trailer for the 1998 movie The Mask of Zorro. For Michael, it was love at first sight. He was enchanted by the stunning beauty of the young Welsh actress, and he quickly told his assistant to keep an eye on her. Like a teenager in love, Douglas, 54, wanted to know everything about her. So when his assistant told him that The Mask of Zorro would be premiering the next night at the Calm Film Theater, he was overjoyed. Michael was already at the festival to promote one of his movies, so he told his assistant to find out if she was coming to the premiere and if she was coming alone. Michael was so excited to meet the young actress that Katherine was coming alone and was even willing to go out for drinks with Michael. Things went from there, and soon the couple was married in a fairy tale ending. In 2000, they got married at the fancy New York Plaza and have 2 kids, Dylan and Karis. In 2010, 10 years after getting married to Katherine Zeta Jones, Michael Douglas was diagnosed with throat cancer, which turned out to be tongue cancer. The news threatened their marriage in ways that would surprise and probably amuse you. In an honest, no-holds-barred interview with The Guardian, the veteran actor talked about the situation. Michael's honest confession that oral intercourse caused his stage 4 cancer went viral. Now, telling people that oral intercourse caused your cancer is one thing, indirectly blaming your wife for the problem is quite another. Before anyone knew it, Michael's honest confession was the main story in most entertainment and gossip sections of major news outlets. Many news outlets picked up the story and ran with it, sometimes without checking the source of the information. Katherine Zeta Jones, who was not responsible for Michael's embarrassing slip of the tongue, reportedly felt so embarrassed that she thought about divorcing her husband. Now, before you join the many people who criticize the veteran actor for his unasked-for revelations, consider this. According to Michael Douglas, his doctors told him that his cancer was an STD caused by HPV, which is also known as the human papillovirus. He didn't go into detail. He said that the virus could only be spread through oral contact, so unless there were any cheating scandals, it's possible that the famous actor got the virus by putting his mouth on his wife's privates. This doesn't mean that Katherine caused the cancer directly, but we can't rule her out either. Do you see how Douglas's unguarded revelations could be bad for his wife? Soon after the famous actor's confession went viral, rumors started flying that the power couple had lost their spark and were splitting up. Going their separate ways, Katherine Zeta Jones said she was angry at the doctors for not finding the cancer sooner, but behind closed doors, she wasn't happy with her husband's revelations. Luckily, the actress changed her mind, forgave her husband, and they got back together, but that was just the start of their problems. Katherine Zeta Jones was diagnosed with bipolar II disorder a year after Douglas's cancer scare. Unlike her husband, Katherine wanted to keep her condition a secret and refused to do any interviews, but nosy reporters wouldn't let her. Soon, Katherine's health condition became a hot topic in the media, and many people shared their thoughts on the matter a year after it became public. In an interview with In Style, the famous actress said that she didn't like to blast her personal problems from the rooftops. This was seen as a direct jab at her husband, since he was the one who told everyone he had cancer from putting his mouth on his wife's valuables. 2 years after the interview, rumors were flying that the couple had broken up. Insiders say that Douglas's cancer diagnosis and Katherine's health problems put a strain on the relationship, so the couple decided to take a break from their 13-year marriage. The couple didn't make the split public, but fans noticed that they didn't show up in public during the whole time they were married. There were rumors that their marriage was on the rocks all of 2013, but quickly they got back together and made their first public appearance together at the opening of the play The Library in New York in 2014. The next year, Michael Douglas confirmed that they had broken up and then gotten back together when he was a guest on the Ellen DeGeneres show. He told Ellen that he was still crazy about his wife even though they were having problems in their marriage. The veteran actor said that every marriage has problems, but he and Katherine learned to accept their differences and move on. He said that he and his wife were now back together and stronger. Later that year, they celebrated their 15th anniversary by going to the U.S. Open and the premiere of Michael Douglas's movie Ant-Man. The next few years were bliss, as the power couple attended many public events together, showing how strong their relationship was. However, as the saying goes, good things never last, so when they took a vacation last year, they were hit with more divorce rumors. Selling a house in Bermuda for $12 million. The house, which the couple affectionately called their Longford prized possession, had been their favorite vacation spot for the past 20 years. A source told Radar Online that the marriage was over and that the couple didn't want the hassles of a divorce. The source said that Douglas and Katherine were living apart, but had made special plans that no one knew about. Simply put, Katherine Zeta Jones has told her husband goodbye but isn't letting anyone know because she isn't ready for the drama that comes with divorce and doesn't want her family to be the subject of intense public scrutiny and discussion. This makes sense because in 2013, the Mask of Zorro actress told the Daily Mail that she hated divorce and thought it was disgusting. One source said that the couple had never been the same again after their short breakup in 2013. Douglas's cancer diagnosis and Zeta Jones's mental health had taken a serious toll on the marriage, and it's still affecting them today. The source said that Katherine didn't want to split up with her husband because of her mental health problems, so they decided to stay married but live separate lives. The sexual assault claims against Douglas in 2018 made things worse between him and his wife. In 2018, a former assistant to Douglas in the 1980s said that he harassed her while she worked as his assistant. The former assistant, Susan Browdy, said that Douglas made rude comments about her body during meetings and told her about one strange incident that shook them both. Browdy told her he slid down to the floor, unbuckled his belt, and put his hand inside his pants. I could see what he was doing, and then he started to kind of fondle himself, and I was very scared. Bro's accusation came at the height of the Me Too movement, which made fun of many Hollywood elite for taking advantage of vulnerable up-and-coming artists. It encouraged victims to name and shame people who had slept with or touched them inappropriately in the past, offering them jobs. Even though Michael Douglas strongly denied Bro's accusations, sources say it caused tension in his marriage. Many women joined the Me Too movement to support the victims and call out the abusers, but Zeta Jones couldn't because her husband had been named as a perpetrator, and she would have been seen as hypocritical if she joined. Katherine's only option was to leave her husband, but she didn't like the idea of divorce, and she didn't know if the accuser brother was telling the truth or just wanted to get money from her husband. Wasn't happy that the media was using her husband's problems against him, which put stress on their marriage. In public, the couple seemed to be getting stronger, which is typical of Hollywood celebrity marriages until they fall apart. For now, we wish the power couple the best as they work through the challenges of marriage.